I think it's pretty safe to say that modern day sports car racing is pretty popular. With the likes of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the World Endurance Championship, the IMSA Sports Car Championship and the European Le Mans Series, makes like Porsche, Toyota, Mazda, Cadillac, Ligier, Oreca, Dallara, Alpine and formerly Audi are enjoying much attention and popularity. But as popular as sports car racing is today, it cannot hold a candle to the massive heights it reached between 1982 and 1993 under the Group C name. Group C was a category specifically designed for sports car racing and introduced by Fiat in 1982. It was designed to replace both Group 5 and Group 6 and create one large overarching category for sports car racing. During its 10-year run, Group C became incredibly popular for a number of reasons. Firstly, it was the spot to see names like Porsche, Sauber Mercedes, Nissan, Peugeot, Toyota, Jaguar, Mazda and Lancia throw their best creations into battle to see who was the fastest. The result was some of the most iconic racing cars of all time, including the likes of the Porsche 962, Sauber Mercedes C9, Mazda 787B and Jaguar XJR9. Group C's popularity grew even further when the Group C Junior category was introduced in 1983, renamed Group C2 1 year later. This was a lower cost category specifically intended for privateer and lower budget teams. This gave the world teams like Alba, Spice, Tiga and Rondo and further boosted the category's appeal as it would ensure packed grids at every race. By 1989, Group C had become so popular it started to attract the attention of one Bernie Ecclestone, owner of another very popular racing series by the name of Formula 1. He felt Group C's immense popularity was threatening that of F1 and he wanted this to change. So, he met up with some of his Fiat contacts and came up with a number of new regulations that would severely impact Group C. First of all, he killed off the C2 category, claiming it to be too unreliable. And then he targeted the heart of Group C, its engines. You see, before the rule change, pretty much all of the Group C cars were powered by turbocharged engines, providing massive amounts of power at relatively low costs. But in 1990, that all ended, because thanks to Ecclestone, the new regulations demanded teams raced with 3.5 litre naturally aspirated engines identical to those used in Formula 1 at the time. This would render costs far higher, thus crippling smaller teams. That way, only the big players were left, and because they had already developed those Formula 1 style engines, Ecclestone would hope to lure them over from Group C and into Formula 1. One of the companies in the middle of all of this chaos was the Fiat Group. Its subsidiary Lancia had already been competing in Group C with the LC2, but disappointing results led to the plug being pulled on that project by the end of 1986. This meant that the Fiat Group no longer had a presence in this very popular racing series. But with the news of the engine regulation shake-up, Fiat decided to have another go at sports car racing. There was just one slight issue. Since the LC2's demise, Lancia had turned its attention to rallying, and Ferrari, which was also part of the Fiat Group, was far too busy with Formula 1, which left Fiat with just one option: Alfa Romeo. However, Alfa Romeo's last dance in the sports car racing category dated back to the late 1970s, so they wouldn't be able to design a Group C car all by themselves as they had no experience doing so. Luckily, they found help in the form of Abarth and their chief designer Giuseppe Petrotta, who had also designed the LC2. And thus, the Alfa Romeo Group C project was born. The next big step was finding an engine. The choice eventually fell on a 3.5 litre V10 from the failed Alfa 164 Pro Car project. After a deal fell through to supply Ligier with the engine for Formula 1, the Tipo 1050 engine, as it was called, found its way into the Alfa prototype. To test it, it was fitted to an old LC2 chassis, given the name SE047, and began testing. Unfortunately, the results from the tests were far from perfect. As much as the engine was fast, it was also very unreliable and prone to breaking. It was going to cost a lot of money Fiat was not willing to spend. So, much to the dismay of Alfa's engineers, Fiat ordered the Tipo 1050 engine to be replaced with the Tipo T60 Ferrari V12 from Formula 1. But, as much as it angered Alfa's engineers, it was a far better choice. It was more powerful, producing 680 horsepower, more than any other 3.5 litre prototype at the time. And it was also more modern, bringing in features like an innovative electronic engine management system. Finally, the whole project seemed to come together. The V12 was coupled together with a beautiful body design designed by Petrotta and was named the Alfa Romeo SE048SP. The design Petrotta came up with was beautiful, simple and elegant. If you ask me, it's still one of the most beautiful cars Group C has ever seen. So, things were looking up for the 048 when Giampiero Moretti from Momo fame was interested and started negotiations to run the car as a privateer team in the World Sports Car Championship. Unfortunately, despite extensive negotiations, a deal failed to materialise. This was a major setback for Alfa Romeo, but it wasn't the killing blow. No, that blow would come in September of 1990. You see, while Alfa was busy working on their new sports car, Lancia had become incredibly dominant in the World Rally Championship, and in that light the sports car program was deemed too expensive and irrelevant. So with that in mind, Fiat's executive branch ordered Alfa Romeo to cease all work on the sports car project immediately. That meant the car never saw a practice session, never saw a qualifying session, and never saw a race. In fact, the closest it has come to actual racing since 1990 was the 2010 Goodwood Festival of Speed, where it made a public appearance. And after one other public appearance, as part of a PR stunt in 1992, the car was confined to Alfa Romeo's museum in Arese, where it remains until this day. Hi everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video on the Alfa Romeo SE048SP, a forgotten racer from Group C's past. If you liked the video, click the like button. If you want to see more videos like these, hit the subscribe button because I'm going to be doing a video every week on a different car. So if you want to stick around, do that. There's other videos to watch. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next week.